Are you ready to revolutionize your relationship with money? Welcome to the Finding Financial Freedom podcast with the Frugal Physician, where I, Dr. Disha, will be your companion on this exciting adventure. Get ready to conquer debt, build wealth, and embrace a mindful spending lifestyle that will empower you to live life on your own terms. Pearson Ravitz' story begins with Dr. Stephanie Pearson, a passionate OB-GYN at the height of her career. But then, a shoulder injury struck during a precipitous delivery. Her dreams were shattered, leaving her unable to practice medicine. Determined to make a difference, Stephanie became an advocate for her peers, guiding them through the complex disability process. Alongside insurance expert Scott Ravitz, Stephanie founded Pearson Ravitz, a company determined to approach insurance differently. Together, they set their mission to educate and empower physicians to protect their most valuable asset, their income, and the most important people in their life, their family. Today, Pearson Ravitz serves the medical community in all 50 states. At Pearson Ravitz, they understand the unique concerns of physicians. Physician-founded and physician-focused, Pearson Ravitz builds human connections before they create quotes. Life can change in an instant. It's hard to imagine that a sudden illness or injury could leave you and your family in a devastating financial situation. But with a little planning and guidance, you can prepare for every possibility. Visit PearsonRavitz.com to schedule your consultation with a Pearson Ravitz advisor. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Finding Financial Freedom with the Frugal Physician. I'm your host, Dr. Disha Spath, and today we have two incredible guests with us, Brad and Gil from Empower Men. Brad's journey from being a shy kid who was struggling with his weight to a successful model and certified financial coach, and Gil's inspiring journey from a small village in Portugal to international modeling and coaching in fitness and nutrition are really, truly remarkable. We'll be discussing a range of topics today, from personal development to money principles and their mission to empower men. Welcome, Brad and Gil. How are you today?
Doing great. It's a beautiful day here in Los Angeles. I don't know if it's as beautiful in Big Bear, California. Gil looks freezing cold, but I'm doing well.
I'm doing good. It's definitely a lot of snow outside, but it's a good day. It's blue skies today. So,
are you guys getting a lot of snow up there in Big Bear?
Yeah, we just got a couple feet in the last 2 or 3 days.
I'm jealous. I'm in upstate New York. It's cold and not snowy, and that's the worst kind of cold. But, it might snow in the next day or so fingers crossed.
I feel bad for y'all. I just love the 67-degree weather right here.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. I won't lie. I'm pretty jealous. Well, Brad, I'd like to get into your story and Gil's story about how you guys got into finance and wellness and fitness. Brad, you guys are a good team that know each other quite well. So I'm going to ask you to introduce Gil to us.
Sure. So Gil Soares is a top health coach and former international model based out of Big Bear, California, but originally from Portugal. He grew up in a small town. His family was very poor, and he was working very hard as a kid, even before the teen years. He's always been competitive. He's always been athletic. And a lot of that came from his mother, who suffered from rheumatoid arthritis and a lot of health issues, which really traumatized him into, let me put the best foods in my body. Let me treat my body like a temple. Hopefully I'm getting this right. After working some long shifts doing security, he actually got discovered by a Portuguese fashion designer who launched his modeling career, and he went all around the world modeling and then also helping a lot of clients with their health and their own transformation, primarily women. Before moving to Big Bear around the time of COVID, after wanting to go to Australia originally. And now he's here, and we met about, I think, 2 years ago, and have just grown closer ever since.
Wow, what a journey. I can't wait to hear more about that journey from you, Gil. Gil, if you don't mind introducing Brad to us, and then we'll come back to you to tell us a little bit more about your journey.
First of all, I just realized you know a lot more about me than I know about you. This is funny. But I wish I could say the same, but unfortunately I can't. I'm a great guy. I guess, Brad and I met, almost 2 years ago. Brad's from South Africa. He's kind of like the finance guy. So, if you want to save money, make money, be more intentional with your finances, this is the guy to speak with. And more than just his knowledge, he's just a great guy and such a great fit. When we meet each other, we felt this is just meant to be.
Sounds like you guys make a great team. Brad, tell me a little bit more about yourself, because I know you're great too.
Well, I grew up as an only child of immigrant parents from South Africa, and I was always overweight. I was always shy. And so it was really my own health transformation that is where it started from originally, where my first ever diet was 4 bowls of cereal because I looked at the back of the box and it looked like it was lower calorie than all the garlic bread my mom was feeding me. And I actually lost weight right before high school, which helped boost my confidence and it helped me feel good and fit in and all that. That was the first taste of personal development of, hey, I could take control of my life. I could take control of my health and change my body and change the trajectory of my life. And then after college, growing up in Florida and graduating right around the Great Recession, around 2010 is when I graduated. And Tampa was one of the toughest cities hit from the recession. There was a lot of real estate that was just abandoned. There weren't many jobs. And I remember when I was in college, I had gotten recruited by this local modeling agency to do some work on the side. I was like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever. This is the ultimate validation. Someone is recognizing me for how good I look, when that was the biggest insecurity my entire life was, hey, I'm overweight. I don't know how to dress. I don't know how to do my hair, all of this. And so I said, you know what, might as well go down this path because it seems like a lot more fun than what is out there. And there were so few jobs, and there's all these cool podcasting, social media, fun advertising jobs back in 2010, especially in Tampa. It was just either you're in the medical field or you're in some sort of cubicle job. So I said, all right, let me go down to Miami. Let me pursue this career. And what I found is that I was working a little bit here and there. Some months were full-time. Most months were part-time. But I found myself not getting the jobs I wanted. And my friends that had the bodies like Gil and the 8-packs and the 3% body fat and all this stuff, they were the ones booking the work. And I was just the one that was much better at my finances than them. And I kept telling them, you're booking the jobs that are paying thousands and thousands of dollars that I wish I was booking myself. But why are you going to the club? Why are you buying these cars? Why are you doing this stuff? Interest rates are so low, or, the cap rates on real estate is just 8%, 10%, crazy numbers where you could build an empire quite quickly if you put money in there. So I started helping my model friends with their finances, helping actors, and then just realizing I have a knack for practical financial literacy. And I eventually got certified as a finance coach through Dave Ramsey's program, but I also studied a lot of other financial coaches as well, because I feel like they all have some great wisdom to take. And it just started from that. It started from, hey, I wasn't getting the work I wanted to. However, I can offer this value to other models and actors and creatives. And so it started there, but then also realizing if you're good with money, that's great. But what's the point if your health is being ignored? What's the point if you're 6 months away from getting a heart attack or 3 years away from getting cancer? And so the passion of health had to be displayed as well in my work. And that's where Gil and I came together, and it's been a really good match.
Yeah, as finance people, we talk about compounding, we talk about time and market, but we don't talk enough about, you also have to compound those gains in your health and actually live long enough to enjoy the fruits of the compounding. In order to do that, you really need to treat your body like a temple and, pay attention to it. And I do agree with you that is a very intentional and essential part of financial planning, but also life planning. And I'm so glad you're spreading the good word. I'm a primary care physician, so I can definitely resonate with your message. Interestingly, I had Bitches Get Riches on the podcast a couple of podcasts ago, and we talked about how losing weight is not a guarantee. You put in the effort and you don't see the results. So I'm really excited to kind of dive into how you guys made your transformation. Gil, can you tell us a little bit about your transformative journey?
I guess for me, I was always very competitive. I always played sports, and I had an older brother, so I want to be competitive with him. So he's 6 years, almost 7 years older than me. So if he says I'm going to do 100 push-ups every day, I'm going to make sure I do one-on-one so I can win. I was just very competitive. So, very athletic from 6, 7 years old. I was already playing soccer. It was my first sport, my first passion. The martial arts and everything I've done in my past really started when I got robbed. I was 15 years old and I got assaulted. So They stole my phone and I felt like I couldn't protect myself. So I'm like, I think I need to do something about this. I was already athletic. I already loved sports. So it was something just following my life. And I just fall in love with it. Always been, curious about health, curious about how can I perform better? How can I be stronger? How can I get bigger? How can I be smarter? Especially because I had to quit school when I was very young. So I was 14 years old. We didn't have like much money. So I had to just help, provide for the house, go work. Actually, my first job wasn't as a security, I made shoes for a living since I was 14 up to 17, 18 years old. And then from there, I took other jobs. I worked as security shifts at night. And then I worked in a hospital for 6-8 months. And then I got discovered. But yeah, so I just got lucky, I guess. We're talking about ROIs and all of that stuff. And it just something came to my mind is we're always thinking about ROI, like return on investment. But we never really think about ROL, like return on life. You could be really successful, but if your health is not matching your success, essentially you're not really successful. So when you're saying like the losing weight is not guaranteed, for us is, because for me, it's the easiest thing that exists because it only depends on yourself. Information is very easy to access, right? We have Google, YouTube, very easy to have information. So it's not really the information that's going to deliver. It's your actions and the accountability. That's what we found to be the most remarkable for everyone that I work with. It's because when you have somebody that you have to be accountable to and report to, then it becomes real because it's not just, if you only do things for yourself, you're like, oh, maybe I'll go tomorrow. But if you have a scheduled call that you have to report to what you've done this week, like, oh, I have to do it because now on Monday, I'm going to be speaking with Gil and Brad. And they're going to like, you didn't do what you said you'd do. And then I'm going to be in front of 20, 25, 30 other people. They are like crushing it. And I'm going to feel bad. So it comes that competitive and the accountability together with the right information, with the right strategy. I mean, we can't really guarantee results unless it's something really wrong with you, which we can help you too. We have like partner clinics. We work with really good doctors that are really heavy into longevity. If it's something even wrong with you, we can still fix it. So it's not like guarantee. It's guarantee if you want it. If you want it really bad, you'll get it.
With health and weight loss and maintenance of our bodies, the concepts are pretty simple. Do the right things. But the thing is, how do you put that into action? So let's talk about Empower Men a little bit. What drove you guys to put this together? And how do you help your membership community?
I mean, for us, it was very easy, right? So finances and health go hand in hand. Most people are like, oh, I need to focus on money. I need to focus on career. And then they lack on their health. And people like really excel in their health, but then they really didn't excel in their finances. So we really feel these things go together. And, if you have the money, then you probably will take care of yourself because you have the resources. But we just felt my expertise is more into fitness, more into health, longevity, hacks, how to optimize yourself. And Brad is into more of the finances, to be intentional with your money, how to save money, how to invest your money. So we just felt like this is just perfect because they go hand to hand. You excel at what you do. I excel at what I do. If we put them together, we're going to be different from what's out there. There is plenty of group coaching, about health or about finances, but we haven't seen one with both of them together. So, the more we talk together, the more we started putting these concepts and what we do together, we just felt this was the perfect thing to do together.
What's interesting is a bit more about my story. In my early 30s, I was working out, I was eating right, I was doing everything that you would see on one of these Live Strong articles for being healthy and raising your testosterone. Have the vitamin D, have the zinc, have the grass-fed, grass-finished meats, lift heavy, get sunlight, get good sleep, drink enough good water, all that stuff. And I was so deflated mentally, emotionally. I had no drive sexually, no drive for my career. And it was hard to even work out. And my arms just felt like noodles. I was getting this little tire around my belly, despite actually being healthier than I am today in terms of effort wise. I was putting in more effort back then for not only no results, but it looks like negative results. Like I could eat a salad and then there's like a tire going around my waist. I was like, what is going on? And that's when I got my blood drawn for the first time in many years because I can't stand needles. And the idea of, seeing my own blood just freaks me out. So I've avoided that for a long time. Finally got my blood drawn, ended up passing out, which, it goes with it. But they said, hey, you have a low testosterone. It's in the 200s. You're a 31-year-old man that looks like you're doing the right thing. This is pretty low. And so I eventually got onto testosterone replacement therapy, which was the biggest life changer for me, because now all the things that I was doing right, I was actually getting the results for. And so after a couple of years of being on TRT and moving around the country and having to change clinics, I recognize that this is the most life-changing thing I've ever experienced. I prioritize this above everything except for food and shelter. If I have food and I have shelter, this is my number 3 bill or priority to take care of. And I looked at the industry and I said, but no one is trying to help people get access to this or afford it. And TRT can be quite inexpensive now, but there's all these other peptide therapies and other longevity protocols that cost a lot of money, but there's not a single business out there that's trying to have the average income earner afford it. They're more like, hey, we'll take your credit card if you want to just pile up more debt. But if you're a teacher making $55,000 a year and it's not covered on your insurance, you're not going to be able to afford some of these things that could really help your health. And so I said, well, there's got to be a way to bridge that gap, because we have obesity going through the roof. We have cancer, diabetes, we have all these health issues. And then on the financial side, we have 1 out of 3 people making over $100K a year is still paycheck to paycheck. We have consumer debt over $1 trillion. We have the same type of issues. If there's a business that actually helps the customer afford their products, afford their services, that could change the whole industry. And coming from the financial side and really wanting these clinics that I was doing business with, that I was giving them my money, I would have loved for them to have reached out during COVID and said, hey, times are tough. What can we do to help you in your career, in your personal life? They just processed my credit card every month. It was a pure transaction. There was nothing saying, hey, how can we empower you further so that you can make more money, you could save more money, and hopefully you could buy more of our products, some of the higher end things that are costing hundreds or even $1,000 a month, because we're helping you get there. So there was no hand up. It was just pretty much, hey, when you make your money, we'll take it. And that's it. We said, you know what? There's a better way to go about it. Hopefully there'll be a point where all these companies are helping their own clients afford their products. And it might just have to come during the next recession or the next hardship where that's the only way to go about it. But yeah, that's pretty much how we started. And we said, hey, what's every angle we can cover and create to ensure that people can afford what we're doing, so that money is not an obstacle for achieving optimal health.
I'd like to caveat that conversation with testosterone replacement therapy in the health circles is somewhat controversial for people that have normal levels. I mean, it sounds like you had low levels and it was obviously important for you to get on it. I would just advise our listeners, the main point here is that he took the time to go get his blood drawn. Brad took the time to take care of his body and realize something was off. And doing that, taking care of ourselves, should be on our priority list. And then we can identify the right ways to go about fixing it. Whereas, I don't think testosterone supplementation is the right idea for everyone. It is certainly the right idea for people that are low in it. Just like anyone that has rheumatoid arthritis, not everyone, but most people would need immunosuppression to help control that disease. In general, I think what you guys are doing is really, really important. And this is an important reminder that, our health and checkups also are important to take care of our financial future in the end. Gil, can you go back and tell us a little bit about how growing up in a poor family helped you or shaped your perspective on finances for yourself now?
Oh, yeah, major. So I'm from a very small village. So when I left in 2013, 14, we're about, I would say 900 people in my village. I think now we're probably around 2,000, but still like very small village. So, the average salary back then was about 450 to 500 euros, which is about $500 a month. So money becomes something, you become a little ambitious. You want to do better, right? But I never really thought back then that I would be traveling the world or I'd be, living in America. If you told me I'm 15, 16 years old, that I'll be living in America, I would be like, yeah, right. I would not even perceivable. It really become really important to me because, us earning so little and my mom being sick pretty much most of the time that I remember, go to a specialist, which is still like $150 for the hour. For us is a big toll because you go twice a month and this is like 55, 60% of your salary, right? So it becomes like money all of a sudden is really important, because if you want to take care of your health, even though the healthcare in Portugal, the government kind of helps a lot. But when it comes to seeing a specialist, you still need to pay out of pocket. And obviously we wanted to see the best doctors to help my mom, because she was in pain most of the time, like unbearable pain. So, that was really important to me, to do better, to look for opportunities and strive to do something better. And I figure as well, like, I'm young, I'm making shoes for a living. This is not my passion, even though now I kind of appreciate those times more. But if I'm going to do something I don't love, I might as well do something I don't love for more money, right? Be more stable. So that was my kind of motivation, my ambition to also provide for my family and help my mom. And it's just look for opportunities. I'm going to do this. I start, exchanging for different jobs, just to, work at night, different shifts, bartend on the weekends, just to make extra money, right? And then I just got lucky, and, I got discovered, and I started traveling. I didn't speak English. My first travel was to Singapore. I actually went to Italy and France for 2 weeks. And then I went to Singapore for 3 months. But I didn't have any money. I literally had probably around $500 something and a backpack. And I went to Singapore for 3 months with not even speaking English. Very brave now looking back, right? Because all I had was somebody will be on the other side with your name on it, and you follow that person, right? And you're on the flight there 16, 18 hours, and you're like, well, what if I got there is not the one waiting for me? And here I don't see my name on the paper, and then what, right? I don't speak English. I don't have any money. This is going to be difficult. But I guess I just got lucky, followed my intuition back then, and it worked out for me. But definitely finance is really important. And even as I get older, finance is money, just a tool that allows you to get freedom, right? So that's kind of what it is for me.
And yeah, I can understand the struggle too. I was 10 when I moved here, and I went to an English school, but the accents and the way people speak in real life is so much different than what you learn on paper. It's a tough journey assimilating into a different culture, and then learning about their financial systems too, right? Because the stock market in the United States and the tax incentives are a lot different than in other countries. And knowing that is very important. Imagine Dr. Emily, a skilled and passionate physician, standing at a pivotal moment in her career path. She has just received a contract offer and is surrounded by uncertainty. Is the offer fair? Does it align with her career goals? This is where Contract Diagnostics shines. Their nationwide expertise, encompassing every state and specialty, positions them as the go-to ally for physicians. When they dove into Dr. Emily's contract, it wasn't just a review. They demystified complex clauses and provided enlightening insights, tailoring their approach to her specific needs. Regardless of whether you're taking your first steps as a new graduate or navigating as an established doctor, Contract Diagnostics delivers a tailored, comprehensive contract review, perfectly suited to your individual situation. Now, it's your turn to secure your future. Reach out to Contract Diagnostics at 888-574-5526 or visit contractdiagnostics.com. Begin your empowering career journey today, and I'll be cheering for you from the other side. So, Brad, do you mind telling us kind of the key financial principles that you teach in your course?
Sure. And so we do have some courses with our program that's there. I hate the word budget. I think most people that struggle with finances, that don't really love getting into the weeds with it, hate the word budget, just like most people hate the word diet. You think of budget, diet, it's the equivalent of just different areas where they're both restrictive. They both come off as miserable. And I like the idea of a winning formula. Whether it's eating for your health, it's exercising for your health, or it's using your money in a way to go in a direction that is taking you where you want. All it is a winning formula. My whole thing is this: if you do these three things, you don't have to use the word budget. And that's just the way I've operated. I've helped clients in the past operate. And the first principle is just eliminating waste. And so if you're eliminating waste, you have to become very aware of where your money is going. So you got to know how much is coming in, how much is going out. And most people don't even know that because there are so many little micro subscriptions. There are so many little things. You buy groceries, you throw that $8 green juice out because it went bad after 4 days. There's the occasional parking ticket. There's the overdraft fee. There's all these things that bring no value to our life. And so if you can just eliminate waste, just the wasted food, just the parking tickets, just the things like that, the micro subscriptions, or even the bigger subscriptions that you haven't used, That's the first thing. And so that means you're becoming very aware of your situation. Second thing is just to spend with a lot more intention and attention. So once you have a very clear idea of everything that's going on, now when you understand, okay, opportunity cost is a very powerful principle in terms of making decisions, because well, if I spend $100 on this t-shirt, then that's $100 that cannot be invested into the S&P over the next 30 years at a 9 or 10% annual interest rate, and that $100 would have grown into whatever, let's say $15,000 just by it sitting there. Well, if you understand that that is what you're giving up, then all of a sudden you think twice about that $100 shirt. You might still want it. You might still say, hey, no, this is going to last me many years. It's not a trend that is going to go out of fashion in 2 years and I'm going to have to replace it anyway. But maybe it's a classic piece. It's well worth the $100, but you're starting to think at a much higher level with your finances because you understand what's at stake, what that money could be getting you down the road. So the second thing is just the intention and attention. And the third thing is just invest heavily, because when you understand compound interest, when you understand opportunity cost, and you understand that the wealthy invest in assets that pay for their liabilities, then you want to invest. You should be very excited about investing. And that is investing in your health, your skills. If you put that $100 towards a course that helps you develop a skill like sales or negotiation, wow, that could yield you hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime versus even just investing in the S&P, because now your earning potential has gone up 10% a year, and that compounds. So that's pretty much it. I don't like the word budget. I think it's just a bit too restrictive and ugly and nasty. But if you just go by those principles and you get that winning formula down, you're going to succeed.
Gil, hit us with the top 3 things that you teach as far as your health goes and how to get back in shape if you're not in shape.
Yeah, the thing like for us is what we do is very unique. So it's not like I have a recipe that fits all, because depending what you want, if you're coming to me, like even the last 20 days, we have people that wanted to lose 50 pounds or people that want to put on 20 pounds. So those are complete 2 different individuals. So their strategy will be absolutely opposites, right? But if you come from a place that you are 50, 60 pounds overweight, first thing we like to do is get blood work. And that's why we work with clinics. We get really amazing prices. So things that, that cost a couple $1,000s for, blood work, full panels and all of that, we get it pretty cheap compared to what you can get outside of it. And we just want to see on paper how you look, right? How is everything? Are you already pre-diabetic? What else is going on in your life? And based on that, then we assess, we also talk to doctors, we consult with them as well. So when we're giving advice, we're giving like an education comment. It's not just like an opinion. And then from there, the same thing like Brad is doing, right? Be intentional how you spend your money. You got to be intentional with what you put in your body. It's the same thing, right? So now, like when you're talking about waste, like what are you eating that's giving you no service, that's not empowering in any way, and is actually slowing you down? And most people think, my problem is I eat too little. But if you are 60, 70 pounds overweight, but if you're eating too little, it means what you're eating, the foods you're choosing are absolutely horrible, because they probably have no nutrition and very high in calories. And that's the first thing. We're going to just like really see what you're eating and put a strategy together on what you're going to eat, what foods to choose, what's the healthy foods, what's not, depending on if you have any allergies or preferences, if you're vegetarian, if you're pescatarian, if you eat meat or whatever it is. And then we do a strategy. So blood work, first thing, talk to doctors, assess your blood work, see how you are. Then we really cut down the foods that don't matter to you, that is not important to you. And then we put a strategy together in your nutrition. On top of that, then for the people, they're like, so should I be doing cold baths or peptide therapy or testosterone? Like, you have no business in doing none of this stuff, because it's for people that are already healthy. So for us, like we don't benefit in any way. We don't make any money on any testosterone, peptides, supplements, anything. All the incentives we have is to give them the discount. So we could make 25% in all purchases, but we rather give 25% off so they can actually afford it and empower them back. So when we consult with them and we have the blood work, we have the nutrition, then we put a workout plan, a strategy for that specific person. Maybe a 60-year-old that's 50, 60 pounds overweight is not going to go to the gym 5-6 times a week like I do, right? So we have to kind of figure out a strategy that works for that person and then implement new habits and systems that we make sure that he's going to follow through. Because if I tell him, oh, you go to the gym, you're going to do like all these exercises, all these machines, all this stuff, it's going to be overwhelming. Even starting as little as a stationary bike, first thing in the morning, I wake up. First thing you do is 10, 15 minutes on a bike ride. We don't need to go too crazy. Just cruise 50 minutes every day. That's all you're going to do. It's like, oh, really? But I need to lose all this weight. Trust me, like for the first 2-3 weeks, that's all you want to do. You want to get used to, you want to kind of get into it, build new habits and systems that you can keep, because we not just want you to lose all this weight in 90 days. We want you to keep it forever. This is a lifestyle that you're adopting forever, right? So that's that. And then for most people, we use a few, longevity protocols like intermittent fasting. For most people, help a lot because most guys or girls have the habit when they're watching a movie after dinner, they're eating something. You know that, right? So if you're constantly eating, you're constantly breaking down food, you're constantly producing insulin, you're kind of like overusing your digestive tract, you're just overdoing everything. So you want to give it at least a 15 to 16 hour break. So you actually can, have a window where you eat, for example, from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then from 8 p.m. to the next day at 12, you fast. So that helps you, gives an opportunity your body to kind of like regenerate, fix things with himself naturally. And then obviously, ingesting calories as well. So you're probably eating already less calories than you were before because you have such a big gap. And then when you actually eat, you're more intentional because, I have 8 hours. So let me see what I'm going to eat today. And then if you're eating from the foods that we chose for you, right? So you have like these range of foods you can eat. Just doing that alone, on average, we've been noticing they're losing between 40 and 50 pounds in 90 days without going extreme. And now for a lot of people, like 50 pounds in 90 days, that's extreme. But it's not for these people because they've been on the other side of the spectrum. So they've been extremely unhealthy, and now they're extremely healthy. They're doing all the right things. So for us, this is the perfect avatar because it's the easiest person to help because they're doing everything wrong. So, when you implement the blood work, the right nutrition, the right strategy to work out, some longevity protocols with the intermittent fasting, all of that, then obviously with blood work, you'll see if you have any deficiencies, if you need more vitamin D or vitamin B12, like we're literally optimizing you. So after, when you start feeling better, because you will feel better, and we notice that they actually change as people. By the mid 45 days, they're already talking different. They carry themselves different because they're losing weight. People are treating them differently because now they are like, their self-esteem, the way they speak to people is different. And for us, this is very rewarding.
I will say, when you look at yourself in the mirror and you see progress physically, it's hard not to feel more confident. During my transformation, the times that I'd let myself go, the times that I was younger and I was eating the wrong foods and I was not treating my body in the highest way, the most respectful way, I did not feel as good. Now, when I look at my body after a workout, there's a reason why people take the gym selfies. It's because you're proud of the effort you put in and the results that you're seeing from it. And It's not fun to take a picture of the salmon salad. However, when you look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I'm capable of doing hard things that are not just about instant gratification. I'm more than just seeking pleasure. I'm seeking something more meaningful. I want to be a better role model for my family. I want to be a better role model for myself. I want to see what I'm capable of. And you're putting in the work and you're seeing the results. How do you not feel more confident?
Speaking of confident, I find that if I'm doing the right things, working out, taking the 50 minutes in the morning to get a workout in before I go to work, my overall just outlook is so much more positive. The endorphins, I'm a happier person because I feel good about myself and I know that I did the right thing for myself to start the day off. Very powerful thing.
And it is a chemical exchange when you work out, right? Like the serotonin, dopamine, all the things that happen within yourself. There is an unconscious body language because when you see someone that's fit, what that person is saying, like, I can commit and I can be consistent at anything, right? Because if I can lose 50, 60 pounds and being overweight and now I'm a healthy, fit person, I have the trait of consistency. I have the trait of being dedicated to something. So that unconsciously already tells other people that you have that quality without speaking.
One thing I will add to that is that I remember seeing this, and I'd love to look on Google as to what study this was, where this came from originally. But women looking for a male partner, they look to the health side because of the subconscious message that it's conveying, which is this person is willing to do hard things on a consistent basis. That is someone I could be more likely to trust in terms of if times get tough, will this person be able to do tough things on a consistent basis to get us out of it? I got to look up that research because I remember it just really resonating with me and saying, hey, that's a very interesting point. But if I'm looking for a partner, what is it also saying about your value system? Are you willing to do things that are uncomfortable for a greater goal?
Well, Brad, tell me a little bit about why in this podcast community, a lot of my listeners are women, but we do have men as well. Tell me why you decided to devise a community just for men.
Well, I'm a man. I still identify as a man. This guy, Gil, he's a man. He's one hell of a man, I'll say that. But also because, we have this other epidemic right now, which is male loneliness. If you look at the news, it's always a male gunman that's shooting up a place. It's always male depression, male suicide. And when you think of women are so much more social overall, and they have their girlfriends. They're social creatures, and they share their emotions. They share what's going on so much more and so much easier than men. And when I moved to Los Angeles right before COVID, I was by myself in a city that's all about collaboration and getting together and events. And I'm by myself for over a year and a half, where the gyms were closed down, where the parks were closed down. They even had boards up over the basketball hoops, so you could not even shoot basketball hoops. LA was very, very locked down. It's a city where it's all about going out and meeting up with people. I had experienced brotherhood when I was in a fraternity in college, and that was probably the last time that I really felt like I was supported by other guys that were similar minded, that I can open up to, that would give me a safe space to share the good and the bad. And besides that, most guys don't have that after 25 years old. They may have had it growing up with different sports teams. They may have had it in certain organizations in school and fraternities. But after that, they kind of just cling on to their spouse. They might have one or two guys at the office. They might have their fantasy football team, the guys that they talk shop with there, but they might not go as deep. And we said, you know what? There's this very big issue with male loneliness. Men need a place to be challenged and supported by one another, where it's just for men, so that they could talk about some of the other things that are a bit deeper. Maybe it's their relationship, where we had one guy mention a couple of weeks ago that his partner is starting to feel very insecure because of the results he's seeing and the amount of effort he's been putting into himself. She's now feeling threatened that maybe he'll leave her. But that was a very important thing for him to bring up, because now we say, hey, how would you appropriately speak to your girlfriend about this and inspire her to start her own journey and reassure her that you're there with her and this is for your own good, and not harbor any resentment because she might feel insecure and stop you from doing what's right for you. You could see all over the country there are more and more men's groups, more support groups popping up, but it's just another way that we can provide that for men, and we can't provide that for women. No matter how hard we try, no matter what we identify as, we would not be able to provide that for women. But that also makes it even more special for the men that join our program.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I wish my husband was here. He is totally in line with your guys' thinking and would very much love to be part of a community just for men that are interested in health and taking care of themselves and their finances. And I can see why it would be beneficial for men too. I think I agree with you. Like, women do get together a lot and we talk a lot, but I wish that for my husband sometimes, just to have a community of people he can open up to as well.
Yeah, sometimes the conversation is not like all personal development either. It's a lot of venting. It's a lot of, hey, we got to talk about real stuff going on in our lives. So we like to have both. So it's like, hey, here's the right thing. Here's what Tony Robbins would say. Here's the way to go about it. But also, we got to get dirty too, because none of us are perfect and all of us have our own things that we're dealing with as well.
All right. Well, Gil and Brad, thank you so much for taking the time to come onto our podcast. Are there any last bits of wisdom you'd like to leave with our audience? Gil, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, and also, like, we were just talking about the physical transformation and what we do when they join in, but it is a lot more than just that, right? Because even from day one, when they join in, we give them certain books to read or certain books to follow their journey at specific times of their journey. So it's also a lot of psychology into it, because you can do so much more than you think. Like, honestly, even myself, I'm already fit. I still sometimes surprise myself, right? I get up in the morning at 3 feet of snow outside, so I'm shoveling for 2.5 hours so I can go to the gym, right? And then I go to the gym and I work out, I come home, and then I have MMA and they have jiu-jitsu later today. So it's like 2 years ago, if you ask me, it's like, that's a lot. That's like 4.5 hours, 5 hours of just physical work. Yeah, so you can do so much more. So that support in your psychology, in your psychic, being there like, well, I feel sometimes like I'm supporting them mentally more often than actually physically, because most people just have to either have someone that believes in them and that's all they need. And some people just need the support, like, this guy is just going to help me. I just believe in this person's going to help me. So I feel like all we're doing, whether it's physical, financially, emotionally, it all ties together. We're just like very proud of what we're doing, and you can tell your husband to join it. We're more than welcome to join, and we just want to do more of it.
And Brad, any last pieces of wisdom for our audience today?
Yeah, I think it always circles back to this. We have more information than we've ever had. It's at our fingertips. We have Google search, we have ChatGPT, we have podcasts, we have YouTube. The information, unless you're going for something extremely specific, is not the issue. So what is the issue? Why are people still struggling with their health, with their finances, and with everything else? And it really is two things that we've found that is just gets reconfirmed every time a man goes through our transformation, which is accountability and environment. When you're in an environment of people that are fit, people that are going towards a goal, you will be brought up or you will be weeded out. Either adapt or you're the black sheep, and then you're going to be so uncomfortable that you'll leave. But the men that join us and the men that just join other communities, the women that join other communities of like-minded women that are getting in better shape or they're growing a business together, it's the same thing. You're going to mold to that and you're going to get brought up. So find yourself an environment where the people in that community are at a higher level and are wanting you to be at that higher level. Because if you're in an environment where it's normalized to bet on sports and to just eat chicken wings and smoke cigarettes and drink beer and do whatever, if that's normal, you're going to mold to that, or you're just going to feel very uncomfortable not doing that. And you're going to want to find a different tribe. So get the environment. And then when you look at the studies on accountability and how powerful ongoing accountability is for hitting a goal, there's a reason why we brushed our teeth as kids, even though we didn't want to. There's a reason why we got up for school every single day at 6:30 in the morning, even though we didn't want to. It's because we had accountability from our parents. We knew that there was something at stake. So when you add accountability, especially ongoing every single week, and you add an environment that pushes you towards that direction where you want to go, you will succeed at your goals.
Well, thank you again, guys, for taking the time. It's so inspiring talking to you guys and seeing people putting, their good word into action. We wish you the best of luck, and men in this community, make sure you go out and check out Empower Men. Brad, do you mind telling us exactly where they can find you?
Yeah, empowermen.co is probably the easiest. Same thing as on Instagram. If you have husbands, boyfriends, and you'd like to nudge him into the right direction in terms of his health and his finances, we're happy to help.
Awesome. Well, you guys have a great day. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Disha.
Thank you, Brad and Gil, for sharing your incredible journeys and insights with us today. If you want to connect with Brad and Gil, you can find them on social media at 10GilSoares, that's SOARES, on Twitter and Instagram, and you can visit their website at empowermen.co for more information. Be sure to follow and stay updated with their mission to empower men and improve their health and financial well-being. Make sure you mention that you came from the Frugal Physician. Thank you for joining us at Finding Financial Freedom with the Frugal Physician. Stay frugal, y'all, and stay tuned for more inspiring episodes. Cheers. Now, a final word from our sponsor. At Pearson Rabbits, they understand that life can change in an instant. It's hard to imagine that a sudden illness, injury, or catastrophic event could put you and your family in a devastating financial situation. Physician-founded and physician-focused, Pearson Rabbits builds human connections before they create quotes. Visit www.pearsonrabbits.com today and embark on your journey to safeguarding your future.
The content shared on this podcast should not be taken as individualized financial advice. We are here to share our knowledge and experiences, but it is crucial to consult with professionals such as accountants, financial advisors, or attorneys who can provide personalized guidance based on your specific needs.